Hello, and welcome back our channel. Before we begin, let me ask you a simple question. What if the biggest thing stealing your life is not failure, but comfort? Most people believe they are wasting their lives only when they make huge mistakes. But the truth is often much quieter than that. A life is usually wasted one ordinary day at a time. One postponed dream. One excuse. 1 hour of mindless scrolling. 1 year spent waiting for the right moment. And then suddenly 10 years are gone. Here is a shocking truth. Many people do not lose their lives because they are lazy. They lose their lives because they become distracted. They stay busy but never move forward. They work hard but rarely stop to ask whether they are climbing the right mountain. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. Today, I want to share a story about time, choices, and the hidden habits that slowly steal our future. This is not a story about becoming rich overnight or achieving impossible success. It is about something much more important. It is about making sure that one day, when you look back at your life, you do not feel regret. So take a deep breath, relax, and stay with me until the end. Because one idea in this video might change the way you spend the rest of your life. Part 1. The dangerous illusion of having plenty of time. One of the most dangerous lies people tell themselves is this: I still have plenty of time. It sounds harmless. It sounds reasonable. In fact, almost everyone believes it at some point. A young person says, I'll start later. A middle-aged person says, I'll focus on my dreams after things settle down. An older person says, I wish I had started years ago. The problem is not that time moves quickly. The problem is that we rarely notice it moving at all. Think about your last 5 years. They probably did not feel long while you were living them. Yet now, when you look back, they seem to have disappeared in a flash. Days become weeks. Weeks become months. Months become years. And life keeps moving whether we pay attention or not. Many people waste years waiting for perfect conditions. They wait until they have more money. They wait until they feel more confident. They wait until they know exactly what to do. But life does not reward endless waiting. The truth is that clarity often comes after action, not before it. No one feels completely ready. No one has every answer. The people who make progress are usually not the smartest or the most talented. They are simply the ones who start before they feel ready. Imagine planting a tree. The best time to plant it was years ago. The second best time is today. The same principle applies to your goals, your health, your relationships, and your personal growth. Every day you delay becomes part of your past. Every day you act becomes part of your future. The clock is moving whether you notice it or not. And one day, the future you keep talking about will suddenly become the present. When that day arrives, the question will not be how much time you had. The question will be what you did with the time you were given. Part 2. The trap of living on autopilot. Have you ever driven somewhere and realized you barely remembered the journey? Your hands were on the wheel, your eyes were open, yet your mind was somewhere else. Many people live their entire lives that way. They wake up at the same time, follow the same routine, think the same thoughts, repeat the same habits. Then they wonder why nothing changes. This is the trap of living on autopilot. Autopilot feels safe because it requires very little effort. We do what is familiar instead of what is meaningful. We choose comfort over growth. We follow routines without asking whether those routines are taking us where we truly want to go. The danger is not that life becomes difficult. The danger is that life becomes predictable. Days begin to blend together. Weeks pass unnoticed. Months disappear. Before long, another year is gone. Many people assume they are making progress simply because they are busy. But being busy and moving forward are not the same thing. You can spend years responding to messages, paying bills, attending meetings, and solving small daily problems while never getting closer to the life you actually want. Busyness often creates the illusion of purpose. But activity is not achievement. Motion is not progress. A person running on a treadmill may be working hard, but they are still in the same place. The same can happen in life. That is why it is important to pause from time to time and ask yourself difficult questions. Why am I doing what I do every day? What am I moving toward? If I continue living exactly as I am now, where will I be 5 years from today? These questions can be uncomfortable, but discomfort is often the beginning of awareness. And awareness is the first step toward change. The moment you stop living unconsciously, you begin to reclaim your life. You start making choices instead of simply reacting to circumstances. Because a meaningful life is not built by accident. It is built through intentional decisions, repeated day after day, long after the excitement fades. The people who live with purpose are not always luckier than others. They are simply more awake to how they spend their time, attention, and energy. Part 3. The high price of small daily choices. When people think about wasting their lives, they often imagine dramatic mistakes. They imagine losing everything because of one bad decision. But in reality, life is rarely changed by a single moment. It is changed by thousands of small choices, a few extra minutes of distraction, a promise you make but never keep, a goal you postpone until tomorrow, a healthy habit you skip because you do not feel like doing it. Individually, these choices seem insignificant, but over time, they become your future. Imagine two people standing in the same place today. Their lives look almost identical. One person decides to spend 30 minutes each day learning a new skill. The other spends those same 30 minutes scrolling through content they will forget tomorrow. On the first day, there is almost no difference. After a week, the difference is still small. After a month, it is barely noticeable. But after 5 years, the gap can be enormous. One person has gained knowledge, confidence, and opportunities. The other wonders why life never seems to change. This is the hidden power of daily decisions. Success rarely arrives all at once. Failure rarely arrives all at once either. Both are usually the result of repeated actions. The challenge is that the consequences are often delayed. Good habits feel difficult today but rewarding later. Bad habits feel rewarding today, but painful later. That is why so many people struggle to make wise choices. The rewards of discipline are invisible at first. The costs of neglect are invisible at first. But eventually, both become impossible to ignore. Your life tomorrow is being shaped by what you repeatedly do today, not by what you intend to do. Not by what you hope to do, but by what you actually do. Every small action is like a vote for the person you are becoming. Each choice strengthens a direction. Each day reinforces an identity. The good news is that you do not need a complete life transformation overnight. You do not need perfect motivation. You do not need extraordinary talent. You simply need to start making slightly better choices more consistently. Because years from now, your future will not be determined by a few major decisions. It will largely be determined by the small actions that seem too insignificant to matter. And that is exactly why they matter so much. Part 4. Why comfort quietly destroys potential. Most people think danger looks obvious. They imagine failure, hardship, rejection, or uncertainty. But one of the greatest dangers in life often feels pleasant. It is comfort. Comfort is not always bad. We all need moments of rest. We all need peace and stability. The problem begins when comfort becomes our highest priority. Because growth and comfort rarely exist in the same place for very long. Every meaningful achievement requires stepping into uncertainty. Learning a new skill feels uncomfortable. Starting a business feels uncomfortable. Speaking in front of people feels uncomfortable. Changing your habits feels uncomfortable. Even becoming a better version of yourself can feel uncomfortable. That is why so many people stay exactly where they are. Not because they lack ability, not because they lack intelligence, but because they become addicted to familiarity. The human mind naturally prefers what it already knows. Familiar routines feel safe. Predictable days feel secure. Yet the price of constant comfort is often invisible. Year after year, potential remains unused. Dreams remain untested. Talents remain hidden. People convince themselves they are being realistic when, in truth, they are simply avoiding risk. Imagine a ship sitting safely in a harbor. It is protected from storms. It is protected from uncertainty. But ships were not built to stay in the harbor forever. They were built to sail. The same is true for human beings. You were not designed merely to exist. You were designed to grow, learn, contribute, and explore what you are capable of becoming. The saddest form of regret is not failure. It is never trying. Many older people do not spend their final years wishing they had played it safer. Instead, they often wish they had taken more chances, pursued more meaningful goals, and trusted themselves sooner. Failure can teach valuable lessons. Regret often teaches nothing because the opportunity has already passed. That is why courage matters so much. Courage does not mean feeling fearless. It means taking action even when fear is present. The life you want is rarely found inside your comfort zone. It is usually waiting just beyond it. And every time you choose growth over comfort, you send yourself a powerful message. My future is worth more than my temporary convenience. That simple decision, repeated often enough, can completely change the direction of your life. Part 5. The people you follow become your future. There is a truth many people discover too late. The people around you influence your life far more than you realize. You may think your future depends only on your own decisions. And while your choices certainly matter, those choices are often shaped by the voices you listen to every day. Human beings are deeply influenced by their environment. We absorb attitudes, habits, beliefs, and expectations from the people around us. If you spend enough time with people who constantly complain, you may begin to see problems everywhere. If you spend enough time with people who avoid responsibility, you may slowly lower your own standards. If you spend enough time with people who have given up on growth, you may eventually stop growing too. This process is usually invisible. It happens little by little, conversation by conversation, day by day, year by year. That is why the people in your life deserve careful attention. Ask yourself, who influences the way I think? Who influences the way I spend my time? Who influences what I believe is possible? These questions are important because your environment often becomes your normal. And once something feels normal, you stop questioning it. Fortunately, influence works both ways. Just as negative influences can pull you backward, positive influences can pull you forward. When you surround yourself with people who value learning, discipline, honesty, and personal growth, their mindset begins to affect your own. You start aiming higher. You start expecting more from yourself. You begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. The good news is that in today's world, your circle is not limited to the people who live near you. You can learn from authors, teachers, mentors, podcasts, and educational content from around the world. Every book you read is a conversation. Every valuable lesson you study becomes part of your mental environment. The question is not whether you are being influenced. The question is by whom. Because every voice you allow into your mind is helping shape your future. If you truly do not want to waste your life, be intentional about what you listen to, what you watch, and who you follow. The quality of your future will often reflect the quality of the influences you allow into your present. Choose those influences wisely. They are quietly helping create the person you will become. Part 6. One day you will meet the person you could have been. Imagine for a moment that you could meet a different version of yourself. Not a stranger, not a celebrity, not someone with extraordinary luck. Just you. The version of you who used their time wisely. The version of you who stopped making excuses. The version of you who acted when others hesitated. The version of you who kept going when life became difficult. What would that person look like? How would they think? How would they speak? How would they spend their days? Now imagine standing face to face with that person. Would you feel proud? Or would you feel a deep sense of regret? This question may be uncomfortable, but it reveals something important. Inside almost every person lives two versions of themselves. The person they are today, and the person they are capable of becoming. The distance between those two people is created by daily choices, not luck, not talent, not perfect circumstances, but consistent action. Many people spend years dreaming about a better future. They imagine becoming healthier, wiser, stronger, more confident, or more successful. Yet dreaming alone changes nothing. A dream without action eventually becomes a source of frustration. You cannot build a meaningful life through wishes alone. At some point, intention must become behavior. Hope must become effort. Vision must become discipline. The truth is that your future self is being created right now. Not next year, not next month, not someday. Right now. Every hour you spend learning is shaping that future person. Every difficult conversation you choose to have is shaping that future person. Every promise you keep to yourself is shaping that future person. Even the small moments matter, especially the small moments. Because character is not built during rare dramatic events. It is built through ordinary days that nobody else notices. One decision at a time. One habit at a time. One step at a time. Life is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be responsible for the opportunities you have been given. You do not need to become someone else. You do not need to compare yourself to anyone else. You only need to move closer to the person you know you could become. And one day, years from now, you will meet that future version of yourself. The question is simple. Will that meeting be filled with gratitude or regret? The answer depends on what you choose to do today. As we come to the end of this story, I want to leave you with one final thought. Your life is happening right now, not tomorrow, not next year, not after everything becomes easier, right now. The days may seem ordinary, the choices may seem small, the changes may feel slow, but never underestimate the power of what you do consistently. Years from now, you will look back on this season of your life. You will remember the decisions you made. You will remember the opportunities you accepted or ignored. You will remember whether you chose growth or comfort, action or delay, purpose or distraction. And perhaps the most important thing to remember is this. It is not too late. No matter how many mistakes you have made, no matter how much time you believe you have wasted, no matter how far away your goals may seem, you still have today. And today is more powerful than most people realize. A single decision can begin a new direction. A single habit can start a transformation. A single moment of honesty can change the course of an entire life. You do not need to change everything overnight. Just start. Start with one better choice, one meaningful action, one step forward, then another, and another. Because a meaningful life is not built in a day. It is built day by day. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to reflect on one area of your life where you can begin making better use of your time. And if you enjoy thoughtful stories about personal growth, life lessons, mindset, and building a better future, consider subscribing to the channel and joining us for future videos. Thank you for spending these moments with me. Take care of yourself. Stay focused. Stay intentional. And most importantly, do not waste the precious life you have been given.